Hello, everybody. Welcome to Expression Pass here on Busman Network. I'm your host, the Latin excited Eddie V. Joining me is the one, the only Busman himself, Mr. Corey Dirrig. Hello, good sir.
Hello, Edward. How are you?
I am doing great. I am in the process of finishing up the Mio Memories in Orbit review for Boss Rush. So I'm writing that right now. I just got my Final Fantasy 7, just pre-ordered Dragon Quest 7 reimagined from for Switch 2. But I'm doing good. We're getting close to February, I should say, at this time. But before we go any further, Corey, for anyone who is watching this and stuff, please stay warm if you are getting hit with some of this cold weather and these storms and stuff. Do be safe. Because they're hearing a lot of people in the East Coast at this time this weekend. So just stay warm. If you don't have to go out, don't go out. If you do have to go out, please be safe. It's been cold here in my area, so I've been taking the train so I don't have to drive, so I can be safe and everything. So just wanted to say that just be safe this somewhat winter now. Because like normally, like in December, Corey, it's like barely no snow, it's barely any cold, and now it's just I feel like winter just all came in January, in a sense.
Yep, winter's here.
So
I feel like that's something. It's from like a show or something, isn't it? I don't know.
Probably.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Not important.
But Corey, it feels like.
No.
We are back doing Expression Pass. Expression Pass is...
Yeah,
we're making a comeback.
I mean, we're always making a comeback with this show. Here's the thing. There's just like... I don't know. I just have this weird want to do more things, even though I'd never have time to do them, right? But like Expansion Pass... it just seems like a layup for us to do extras because you and I talk all the time, so like,
yes,
I don't even know or care what it's about. We even talked about today, like, oh, we still need to do that video game rewatch thing, but how do we do that? Do we do that as part of Expansion Pass? Do we do that as something new? Do we do that as something different? Do we bring back standard def, whatever? It's like, man, there's just like, I have so many things I would like to do. And then you realize that there's only like so many minutes in an hour
yeah,
to do things. So I don't, I would love to like do more because I have so many things I would like I would like to do the Mario movie commentary, not the new ones, the 1993 one. And like, I've been going back through past episodes because we're, as of this recording, we're like 5 months away from episode 500 theoretically. If we don't miss or something doesn't happen tragically to one of us or something important comes up.
exactly.
And so I'm going back through the episodes and like trying to fix things in them and do things just because like I want a nice clean thing. And I'm looking at the titles and the things that we used to talk about and I'm like, oh my gosh, like we used to like talk about all the same stuff. Like, well, what Xbox games will we see on Nintendo Switch? Will GameCube ever come to Virtual Console on Nintendo Switch? Because we didn't know what NSO was at the time. And like,
it's funny when
Reggie's retiring, we have a new president, or and it's like, oh well, Bowser's retiring, we have a new president.
here's 20 episode of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, dude, literally like everything from June to Gamescom was Zelda, except for the E3 episode. And it's so funny. And it's so funny because even the Gamescom episode, we talked a little bit about Mario and Rabbids, but then the episode right after that was the new 2DS XL unboxing.
Yeah.
on the episode, which was great for audio listeners, I'm sure. But I don't know, man. And we were talking about like Fire Emblem Warriors, and then like you go back through and you're like, oh my gosh, look how many people we used to have on the show, and like who used to co-host with us, and like, you know, then there was like almost 2 months where you weren't on the show, and then there was almost 6 months where I wasn't on the show when we were trying to fix the Boss Rush podcast and Arsenal X, and like it's like, oh my gosh, dude, there are so many twists and turns within this, like it's just crazy to look back at all the episodes we were doing, and that doesn't include this, and I'm just talking about regular episodes. I'm not talking about direct recap shows, old expansion passes, new expansion passes, the mini blocks we used to do when we used to just get on and BS for no reason. You know, our game of the year episodes aren't numbered. Like, you know, those first couple years weren't numbered. They were just special episodes.
Yeah.
And so, and like all the dumb logo changes and everything, I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, what was I doing? What was I doing? I still say that. What am I doing? You know, but I'm medicated now, so it's different. But you know, it's just, there's so much that we used to do and say, and I don't know, we're still the same, it looks like. So I don't know, man. It's just been a wild look at the last week or 2 weeks or so, and I think once we get to episode, what is it, like once we get to episode 500, the things that we've been talking about and kind of working on will make sense, but also like it's just going to be exciting to have a fresh, like, round number of at 500, and like, just, I don't know, I'm just excited. And you know, we're going to do episode 500 in person also, which is worth noting. Hopefully. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to, but I think we're going to go to all the retro game stores around and like go look at the games and try to get some stuff. And I don't know, maybe I'll bring my nephew with me, because he's kind of like wanting to do things, but you know, he's at that age where he's like too young to be old, but too old to be young type thing, you know, like 12, 13, 14 area. It's like, man, I remember those days. Do I want to? No, but I do.
It's so funny because we was talking about, you know, retro stores and garage. I mentioned garage sales because I'm just like, man, I really want to do like a garage sale trip and see what games people are selling, and if I still got that system, or if they got a part that I need, how much they're gonna charge me if I snag it. Like, I kind of want to just like bring like five $20 bills and then just go to different places.
Yeah, it's you know, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Yes. So do you remind you when you were talking about rewatching like some of the episodes and everything? Not rewatching some of the episodes, like watching the directs and stuff like that. I was thinking about, I'm like, okay, we did what, 2 E3s, right? We did the one with Damon X Machina, and Smash.
We've done quite a few E3s, because remember, like when Pow Block was part of Nerds Gone Rogue, we watched it as a group. So like it was kind of its own thing. It wasn't a Pow Block specific thing. I mean, we used to do E3 like every year, and then COVID happened, and then we obviously didn't do it that year, and then, you know, E3 happened like one more year, and then that was it. But I would love to like look at past E3s, like especially around the time we started the show, or like maybe like right when the Nintendo Directs started, or like rewatch the last live presentation that was what Nintendo Land, I think was like the last live one they did.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
they tried to put like they tried to make the set look like Nintendo Land on stage.
yeah.
Um, man, what a time!
I was looking at the Wii U E3, like kind of skipping around, and I just remember seeing Ken Levine and all of these other, developers who were talking about the Wii U and their games and stuff, and how just nothing kind of materialized. But then, like Bayonetta 2 was the big one, and then we how we waited, and then um the wait led to maybe one of the best games on the Wii U, and for that year we from a lot of people, we don't know why it didn't happen, but Bayonetta 2 for a lot of people was the game of the year. It was my game of the year. And
Yeah, I
that
was looking
month,
at that was the episode I was watching last night. Actually, was the remember when Sega did that big weird Bayonetta countdown on their website
yeah,
in 2017, but it ended up being the weird 4K Vanquish Bayonetta dual pack for PC,
yeah,
and we were like, "Where's the Switch version?" And then that year they announced, the 1 and 2 are coming in February, and because I was like, I cannot find like a decent thumbnail image for Bayonetta, because I'm kind of going through
hmm
and fixing the thumbnails too, because I don't know, terrible human.
you're an
And I'm
artiste.
I'm like looking at them, I'm like, dude, every single one of these is either like so zoomed in you can't use it on her face, or like a crotch shot, or like something inappropriate for a Nintendo show that's like
hmm
ours, right? Like, yeah, I know there's Nintendo shows out there that like curse and throw weird verbiage around or whatever, but like we try to keep this show clean for the most part. But like
Yes.
it's just like, man, I cannot get a good clean Bayonetta image anywhere. I don't even remember what image I ended up using for that. I was what I was trying to do was find the Nintendo specific outfits, right? Like
Yeah.
the Peach and the Star Fox and the I think there was a Link one, right? And
Yeah, that's a Link one. It's the Link Princess Peach slash
yeah.
Toadstool for some. Fox McCloud, because she has the little tail in the back with the green pants and white boots. Like
Mm-hmm.
she's
She has
really covered
ears.
up in that one. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
think no, it's the Princess Peach one when you see Bowser's hand coming out the portal punching.
I'm trying to figure out which one I used. Nope, that's not what I used. I mean, I don't have a problem I just had a close up of her face giving a like a like a scowl,
Yeah,
but
and
it's like whatever.
that's when we knew that. Um, now that I think about it, yeah, Nintendo let Platinum do whatever they want with them M-rated games. They were just like, we, I'm like, we're coming in just to make sure everything is working. You can use these characters. Okay, that's good. We're out the door. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's funny because we may talk about this on the show, but probably not with this patch being like censor and stuff. And Nintendo's just like, we don't censor nobody's content. They
I
work
know.
within our
Can you tell by
guidelines
all
and
the
stuff.
hentai games and the anime games on there?
Hmm
Yeah, everybody. It's funny that everybody's like blaming Nintendo, and then they're like, wasn't us.
Right. And
uh,
they know, and I can understand why they did it. It's just like, well, some of the stuff, like if it's a worldwide release, a lot of this content has to be censored. You can't show a lot of this stuff in these countries and stuff. So to make it straight, plain, just across the board, we're gonna censor this stuff. And they were just like the censors. They said the censors make it very funny with the black bar and stuff and everything. And I'm like, well, if you want the uncensored version, there's still the PC and the PlayStation 5 version. The PS5 version is surprisingly not censored because of a lot of their stuff
I
they
mean,
censor a
PlayStation's the one
lot.
that censors stuff. They censored
Right.
Devil May Cry 5 at one point, and that wasn't even like bad.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when they did that? Like they
Yeah.
yeah, that was something.
I was just like, but y'all got The Last of Us 2, and that game is dark with some of the stuff y'all allow. But it's the each their own
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yep. It was it was something. So I don't know. I really enjoyed going back through some of these. Some of them I didn't, but some
mhm.
of them I did. And so, you know, I'm looking forward to kind of seeing where we go from here in terms of like 500 and beyond. Like, what does that look like? Are we going to make it to episode 1,000? I don't know. I'm going to be like 1,000 years old by then. My kids will be graduating or something. I don't know.
You'll be in your 40s.
God. Gross.
You know, hey, who know what holds the future? We're just trying to make it day by day in the present, like now.
It's something, man.
So
It's something.
yeah, I just it's funny because I just been thinking about like Nintendo in the past and the topics we've done, and it's kind of cool going back and listening to our past selves, even though some of the stuff that we said has happened and some of the stuff that we said has not happened. It kind of showed us that with Nintendo anything is possible. um and you know, seeing the evolution of Pow Block in a sense, you know, quality wise, topic wise, um, you know, the guests that we have, the formation of the show and stuff. Just like it's just so cool to have that, to see that. And then bringing in expansion pass and, you know, doing Arsenal X and the PlayStation and just doing all of this stuff. Just like, man, I think people don't take for granted the history that content creators make, um, you know, while doing this for a long time in a sense. And then going back to watching your work and being proud of it, or even if you feel like cringy or be like, man, I can't believe I said that, but this is the result, this is what I was feeling now and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's also weird to see like you know, our different opinions on stuff while back then, you know,
Mm-hmm.
versus like um what's happening? Why is this not oh my gosh, come on. Um versus like, you know, what are we like, you know, like how have we grown up since then, like since this, like how have we um really evolved our thoughts on things, and
All right.
just the way we talk to, like, you know, uh try to be more thoughtful of how we say things or what we say or how we say it, you know, instead of
Mm-hmm.
just like, oh, I hate this game, it sucks, it's garbage, it's trash, you know. um
But being able to be critical without going that
mhm,
route, you know, talk about some pros before we give the cons and stuff. Being fair, you know, um,
yeah,
and then when you definitely, Corey, when you brought in the motto, play game, you know, be better, play games and stuff like that. Still, you know, that stands out ever since you brought in that motto, because it's just like, um that's our mission for this, you know, just for Boss Rush in general. But like for a Pow Block, I'm like, we want everybody to, play games and enjoy it and be better to one another. You could
Mhm.
always you could have a discussion about a game. You could disagree about some things. You could say, I told you in our text chat, I was just like, art is subjective. Um, but like, if you're gonna criticize a game, I'm like, be fair. I was literally that literally came to my mind because I would Cyberpunk came, 2077 came to my mind, and it may seem unfair that I was criticizing it, but but like LeBron knows this. Just like when Target had it had a buy two get one sale, and me and LeBron was planning our like purchases because he told me about it, and I'm just like, well, is Cyberpunk part of the deal? He said, yeah. So I snagged Cyberpunk 2077. I was like, I'm making these claims about this game, but I'm gonna get a fair shot. And um now, just like what it was at the beginning, it wasn't in a great state. And you could check the 2 months of news for that game. The you could go everybody could go check out their history, and then you see it now, and like even on Switch 2, and it's just like one of the best games that people just like, if you're gonna get a Switch 2, Cyberpunk 2077 is required to be on your system. That's a big history about that. And I say my things about Grand Theft Auto, but I always say that I buy it. Grand Theft Auto 6, I'm buying it. I'm playing. I offer my opinion, and I'll be fair about it and stuff.
Mm. Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people just like, well, Eddie, you don't talk negative about Nintendo. I'm like, we did an expansion pass about that, the negative side of Nintendo. You know, that's that's something people probably don't expect. I'm like, yeah, there are some things about Nintendo that we don't agree upon, and these are our reasons. These are the things and stuff.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. Well,
but I'm like, shoot, me and you, we just like, here's a Nintendo Direct. We gotta watch it. Um, here's this announcement. We gotta watch it. You When you send me texts about some stuff that I'm like, I don't know about, like news wise, I scream. I'm like, wait, what? And I run to the computer to find out, to be like, what is this? What is going on? And stuff.
yeah. It's there's all kinds of stuff going on all the time. It's like you can't it's so weird how much like I used to try to keep up with everything, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and like just as life happens, I'm just like I
Yeah.
don't know, man. There's too much. There are too many games. There's too many platforms. There's too many. You know, there's just too many things going on to the point where like just got to pick and choose what I want to pay attention to, and everything else is
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like I guess I'll find out later or something. Um, I don't know, man. There's just so much. Even like in the last 10 or 12 years, however long we've been doing this, it's just like how things have evolved are just
Mm-hmm.
insane. How the indie market blew up, how like we get our news from like weird places like Insider Gaming and Video Games Chronicle and Nintendo Life instead of IGN all the time now. And like,
Yeah.
the big names in the space are, YouTubers and podcasters, and not necessarily the people that we used to read at IGN or some of these other places, right? Like, um, I don't know, man. It's just so like, and then you go and listen to like the people that you used to listen to back then, and it's like, man, there are some things going on. It's crazy. Um, yeah, man. It's wild. It's wild.
Well,
Just
I
the way
think,
this is all.
yeah, well, that's what I think. The Just the history just expansion pass, Pow Block, Boss Rush, net podcast, all our side shows, just kind of like everything that we've done on the network across, all of Boss Rush. And even in the past, me and Jesse was even talking and stuff. Just just thinking about like everything has built up to this moment and continues to build and stuff. You know, that's something to be proud of. Now, um, with expansion pass, expansion pass gives us the freedom to have those discussions and build off the topic and stuff. And sometimes, yes, we do go different routes, our side tangents, I should say. But even our side tangents are like topics that we enjoy
Hmm.
and stuff. And that could lead to different possibilities in a sense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. There's just, I mean, who would have thought that, like, I mean, it's just, I think back to when we were starting this show and like when you and I started the show specifically, like there was a
mhm,
few episodes where I was doing it with Joey, right? But that was more of like a YouTube show than a podcast, right? Um, and I think about when you and I started this with Adrian,
yeah,
uh, for like the first, few months of it, and then it was Kyle, and then it was Ray Osorio sat in from time to time, and Matthew Keel sat in from time to time, and I think we had Antonio Guillen on it a couple
mhm,
times. It's just like all these people we used to have on. And then I'm like thinking how we used to stream the show on Mixer, which was weird, you know. Uh, for those you kids out there, Mixer was Microsoft's Twitch competitor before it wasn't.
and it was the better decisions than Twitch.
I mean, dude, there are so many features on there that were so cool and well done and just
Mhm,
like, you know, I mean, even like there's just, I don't know, man, there's just a lot there that was good. And then they're just like, nah, we're done. Bye. You're like, what? Wait, what? What do you mean you're
that
done?
was Mixer was my streaming platform from my Xbox One.
I loved Mixer. I mean, we met so many. I mean, that's how we found a lot of like specifically like indie PR people now, right? Like
Yeah,
BU was on there for a while. Like she was the first Mixer partner I ever like met and like talked to about like growing or whatever. A
yeah,
lot of Xbox people were on Mixer, right? Because it was built into the platform. So like that's where a lot of Xbox people got their start. Um,
mhm,
it was like a big Mixer was so cool and so fun. They had that co-stream feature where like you could merge your chats with other streamers so you could
yeah.
get more engagement or whatever, and you could do that with like up to 4 people. That was cool. Yeah, man, Mixer was great. And you look at Twitch and they still don't have like half of those features when it works.
That
um
platform is.
I mean, that's why
I would give.
YouTube streaming is so much bigger now, right? Because like YouTube streaming is like getting so much bigger, and I'm not taking anything away from like Twitch, right? It's just Amazon isn't
Mhm,
investing in it like they were, and because like now, I mean, LinkedIn has a live streaming service for God's sake. Like
oh
everybody,
no!
yeah, we use it for work.
Oh wow!
And then there's like Facebook gaming still exists out there somehow.
I tried Facebook gaming, and it's just like, nah, this is not working for me. I will say,
I mean, it's like the viewers we get on Twitter or X, right? Where like it's just like passerbys that like they just count as views or whatever. And like,
yeah,
okay, great. You want view numbers? I can give you view numbers, but like the average watch time is in the tank. So
I will say this. I do like YouTube streaming. Like when I have my place, I still have my PlayStation 4. I just don't have it hooked up yet. But I stream all of Gree on PlayStation 4. Um, because like Mixer got taken off, and um PlayStation I think wasn't doing Twitter for streaming. They was doing YouTube. So I was just like,
Well, they were
let me stream
doing
to YouTube.
they were doing Ustream for a while, which was
Yes.
like the pre-Twitch thing. But then like obviously Twitch just kind of like took over everything for a while. But I don't know.
It, and
I'm kind of shocked that Twitch is still as big as it is, but I still feel like YouTube is like very, very quietly taken over that top spot.
it's easier to get into and do.
Well, I just like to have all their content in one place, right? And YouTube is the easiest place to do that.
Yes.
You can have your playlists, you can have your live streams, you can have your your shorts and that sort of stuff. And it's like, well,
You can stream from your phone on YouTube.
yeah, I mean, they made it like easy, and I don't know. I feel like YouTube is like a platform that I'm glad people seem to recognize now as like a viable streaming platform instead of like, just being random on Twitch or whatever.
It,
Which, don't get me wrong,
it
it's good to have both places, right? But like, I feel like one of these I feel like Twitch, if either of them go away, it's going to be Twitch first. I feel like, and not for any fault of the platform. It's just Amazon isn't really investing in it at the moment. I mean, we know people. I mean, Ray Apollo works at Twitch still, right? Like he's
yeah.
like, he helped start, Codename NX before it was Boss Rush, and like, he left to go work at Twitch, and like, he's just like, I feel like he won't ever say this out loud, and I don't want to put words in his mouth either. So please don't quote me on this, but like, man, that dude works hard. That dude is everywhere all the time. And I don't like,
Yeah.
I mean, people tell me that I do a lot and whatever, but I'm like, man, have you met Ray? He's everywhere all the time. And I don't, and he has two kids now, I think. So like, I don't know how he's doing it either,
Yeah.
I don't know how a lot of these people do it, to be honest. I mean, man, I just
drive,
don't know.
drive and passion.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously it's that, but I mean, like, as you get older and you have
Families
kids
and
and
stuff,
family and like even just getting older in general, like it's tough, man. It's hard. It's like it's hard to like keep up with everything and everybody, and like even the thought of like getting on a plane to go to PAX is like, oh my gosh, I don't want to get on a plane and like travel and go from the airport to you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, I do.
I mean, I do, but like the thought of the getting there, right, is like, oh my gosh, this just sounds annoying. Anyways, not important. What were we talking? I don't even remember what we were talking about at this point. Anyways, the point is like we've been doing this for a long time, and there's a lot of content out there, and I'm just glad that we've been able to like do as much as we have over the course of the last decade or so. And I start when I started, at least, like I had no idea how to do any of this, and some people argue I still don't, but whatever, it's fine. I probably don't to some extent, but look, I'm like,
I think,
I mean, even like this show and these multiple channels and running websites and everything, like got me like literally like a half step from like the dream job, right? Of like
Mhm.
being I mean, I'm not in games, but I'm at at a tech company running a podcast network and like trying to make it all work. And it's like, man, this is the dream at this point. It's just like
Right.
I, in a way I'm like, I did it, and I'm proud of, not to make this just about me, but I'm like proud of myself for like pushing through all those times where I just wanted to stop, because how many
Mhm.
people do this and they just like, I want to stop, and then they just don't push through it or don't have friends that push them through it like you did, right? Like, I don't know. I'm glad, because it wouldn't have, I would literally not be where I'm at today without, you and this show and like just the friends we've made and the people that we've met and all that.
Yeah.
Um, so, um,
I
yeah.
I did. Yeah. I know we've mentioned this and we talked about this. I think definitely like even before we met and we was doing our own thing, me with optional opinion, but like I remember going back to the oneup.com days and writing optional opinion pieces, even though I had bad writing and editing and stuff like that. I was just like, I felt good of doing blogs. I had the space of getting my thoughts out. Um, in a blog and just getting it out there, then doing stuff on VentureBeat, and getting some of my stories highlighted in like the top 5 stories to look, top 5 blogs. And I was there's like if people go to, look up my name and go to and put in VentureBeat and stuff, you might find some of my top 5 stuff that was on there, because I'm like, that was exciting to see, my work that I put out there, topic wise, was, 5. And then going to optional meeting my friends at doing our podcast and stuff like there, and having the ups and downs with that. But then like meeting you, Corey, do Facebook, do do MVC and Facebook, and you had DNA, I had optional, then we came together, and just like it's always been there. We always came together, make content, had a great time. Even when we got off, the stuff that we talked about could have been like more episodes. And so there were some things that was like early expansion pass. We just didn't know what to call it, because we was just having like such a great discussion and
I mean,
hangout
there was
section
literally
and everything.
like, I mean, at the end of 2016, or at the end of 2017 through like the first half of 2018, we were literally recording twice a week, like numbered
Yeah,
episodes. But then there would
yeah.
be like 6 weeks where we didn't record an episode because of our work schedules. So like it kind of all evened out in the end, but like there were literal times where like episode postings are like 2 and 3 days apart. I think there was a
Exactly.
stretch over the course of 2 weeks where we put out 6 episodes. And they weren't short episodes either. They were like
They're
multiple
like
hours
an
long.
hour. Yeah.
Um,
Because we just had a lot to say, and people who thought that Nintendo never had anything to talk about, I'm like, then you don't know these 2 Nintendo fans, or these 3, or these 4 Nintendo fans, or gamers and stuff. We weren't just stretching content out or anything. We were literally talking about the games and news and everything, and like I said, the possibilities that could come out from stuff. You know.
mhm. Yeah. And it's just really fun to see like uh, maybe not fun, but it's really cool to see like the people who continued and who has kind of like who like fell off and when they fell off. Like, I don't know, to me it's like I'm going through like, oh yeah, I forgot my very first podcast episode was the Life of Gaming, their third episode or whatever.
Hmm.
It was my very first podcast episode because I was writing on my own, knowing how or when or why what I wanted to do really yet. And then that's actually how like DNA was born, because we were going to at the time, the group I was doing stuff with was going to try to group with other people on the internet and try to build something that
Mhm.
obviously Boss Rush kind of turned into a little bit, but um man, just nothing, you're like, in the end, everything like turned out how I think we wanted it to. It just
Mhm.
took a trajectory that we didn't expect it to take, and made it frustrating in some ways and exciting in some ways. But like, it's, life,
Right.
man, life happened. And
And then, hey, going from and people heard like you people heard this us doing Google Hangouts.
oh my
Thought that
gosh,
would work, and
yeah,
that was a mess.
yeah, but I
It
mean,
was
stuff
a
that
mess on
nothing
my
existed
side.
then. I mean, like, it was
Yeah.
either like you would either have to get on a Google Hangout and either record through there or record on your own equipment. And like, I don't know. I mean, I was recording stuff through like OBS on Mac, which was a disaster back then.
Mhm.
And like, yeah, I was like, good luck doing anything on a Mac right now at that point, in terms of like streaming. I mean, now like StreamYard is easy to use, although it kind of sucks. Riverside is really easy to use. Zencaster is good for recording if you need to just record.
Yeah.
Um, and there's just options. I mean, Zoom even has an option now where you can record everything locally and then download it, right? Like, don't, I wouldn't recommend it, but it's there. Uh, so I mean, even Slack has that now, which is like the it's sort of like Discord, but not
Mhm.
Discord. Um, oh, it's crazy, man. And just, I mean, I think YouTube even has like a beta thing built in where you could record stuff through there now, like live
Yeah.
record through there now, which is
Yeah.
crazy.
That's why I said recording it like on your phone and everything and stuff.
Yeah, wild, man. Stuff's wild.
And then us coming together to meet to go to Toys R Us and buy the Super Nintendo Mini. Um,
Yeah,
then
that was
meeting
a crazy time.
yes. And then meeting again at PAX, just like the PAX East everybody, meeting everybody and stuff, and you know, like who knew that just with the people that we even met would just grow. You knew about the Lords of Gaming. I never heard of him until you
Hmm.
introduced me to him. And Chris Jones, I talked to him and everything, and he's like super, super cool. Um Cog is amazing and everything, just like all of the work that they do.
Hmm.
Um uh, um what's his name?
I mean, we've just met so many people, like big and small, and
Yeah.
they all just are trying to, do the same thing at their own pace, and like their own
Mhm.
way. And like, you find out that it's like, I don't know, at least like in my mind, I don't know if it was just like growing up playing sports or like whatever, but for me, it was like always like, I got to be the best. I got to be competitive. I got to be better than all these other people, right? And like beat them out, And I think, at the end of the day, like, you look at how Nerds Gone Rogue ended, I think there's a little bit of blame to go around to everybody, but ultimately it was like, I need to be like the best at this, and,
Mhm.
you know, pushing harder than I should have, or like trying to do different things that maybe we weren't capable of doing at the time or whatever. And like, you go to these events and you just meet all these people who are just like trying to do what you're doing because they love it. And it's like, you gain these friendships. Like, Roger from Gamerheads or
Mm.
you know Matt Storm or Danomac or all these other people that we've met over time. And yeah, look, I
Is it
mean, not
Barry?
everybody, that we've met is
No,
great, right? But like,
Level Up Gaming. That's it. Yeah,
yeah, Baron
Barry.
and
Yeah.
all them, right? Like um it's it's just there's so many, and not everybody's great, right? There are some people out there that are just like, they'll use you. I mean, we've had that a couple times here, and we've had to deal with that in one way or another, right? I mean, there are missing
Mhm.
episodes of podcasts because of people we worked with that ended up being like terrible people that we just scrubbed them from the content. But like, um it is what it is. It sucks that people are like that, but
Yeah.
um I it took me a while to like trust people enough to do that too, though. Like, um be friends with people instead of like expecting them to screw you over. But I think having a friend like you that is just happy, I I hope this doesn't come out the wrong way, but is like just happy to be here, like just
Oh yeah.
the energy is just happy. I'm happy to be here doing this, is and being a friend that people can count on, and not just someone who's going to like sit there and plot on who's, how can I use this to get ahead, and
Mm.
it really helped me kind of not see everybody like that, I think. um because there was a while where I thought everybody was like that. um I don't really talk about it. It's not worth talking about. It's not important. But um I think that's why this show has endured, for so long in one form or another.
Yeah.
So
And I think that's why when I hear other shows or I see people get their start in and I'm tuned in, it's just like I enjoy what they do and I want to see them to go further because I'm just like, I've been in this place,
mhm.
you know, individually and with you, Corey, and just with the whole team and stuff. I'm like, we've experienced how, you know, starting from the beginning is kind of nervous because you're trying to figure things out. But like once things click, it clicks. And you just gotta you gotta be encouraging to your whole team and everything. You gotta ride with them. If you can make time for them to do a record or just talk things out or, you know, see how things could work, that's some of the greatest times to spend because everybody here is for one thing, and that's to make the content better.
Mhm.
And with better content brings in more listeners, more viewers, and everything because now they have an opportunity to hear another side of an opinion or a discussion that they may not typically agree with, or maybe something that they do agree with, and they could, speak their minds and stuff, uh, and just see
Mhm.
how definitely with the change of technology and stuff, and
Yeah.
creating content is easier. um that it would kind of inspire people, you know into getting into this stuff. And yeah, it's not gonna always last forever and everything, but I keep that's why I keep telling people, I'm like, be proud of the content that you do, that you make. Not all content, I would say, because there's some questionable content out there, very questionable content.
Yeah,
um
and I mean, even then too, right? It's like, yeah, okay, our show doesn't get the biggest numbers all the time, but we're also not out there like, our thumbnails aren't like, is Mario dead? You know,
right.
oh no, this game's horrible. 5 stars. you know, it's like, what?
Mm-mm.
You know, it's like we're not out there like we're not playing the metagame of like the negativity of on the internet, which is fine with me. I don't
Right.
care.
Because
But
I think I think that's why, you know, I think that's why when I keep bringing up packs and stuff, it's just, outside the interviews and stuff. When I get into that media room and I say hi to everybody in the morning, or we stop in, I talk to my table, I talk to the other table, hear what they playing and stuff, and interacting, socializing. I'm like, it's so cool to do that, and then to hear everybody's opinions about stuff, and like it's so cool to hear that and everything. Um, and then hop on their show or they come on our show, so that people could hear their content, or come to know our content, and we help each other expand and stuff. I love that. I love that, and I never knew I would be someone into socializing and get into the community stuff and everything. I didn't know that I would be like there, but I'm like, I've been podcasting with Corey for years and having guests, and so I know how I get when it gets into having
hmm,
discussions and stuff. Um, and maybe I'm aware I'm just a odd person like that, but I'm like, I like just talking to you and having engaging comments. Like, I get hyped for that. I keep going back to our Metroid Helldivers discussion, and just how we did 2 parts of it. It's like what, 5-6 hours long or something if you put it together. But it was so engaging to bounce off each other and everything. Um and then be and even if we disagree, we'll get off and we'll still talk and
yeah.
everything.
Yeah, and I think that's like one of the big things too is like people just don't want to work with people that they disagree with, which like,
Mhm,
you know, I don't really understand. I mean, I understand that there's like a line that people don't want to cross, right? I 100% get that, but like I mean, it just like what happened to people just like disagreeing and then going out afterwards to like hang out? You know what I mean? Like I just feel like everything has to be so polarizing and um I don't know if that has to do with like just the way that like the political stuff is panning out or like that's just what the internet has done to people like everything or especially like things like Twitter in general of like
mhm.
everything's just so polarizing and everybody's so short with everybody and like nobody knows how to talk to each other anymore and I mean I disagree with people all the time on stuff and like but like I I don't know. I
It's it
I'm
we talk
you
ab
know,
Okay.
I and maybe it's just because like I work with people on you know, if you want to get partially political, like both sides of the aisle or whatever, and like
Mhm.
I don't know, just everybody seems nice enough. Everybody's just like I don't know, man. It's just like I disagree with people on a lot of things, but that doesn't prevent me from like being a human, like
Right.
and I think that's part of the problem too of this
It
industry in
it takes
general. It's like people just don't want to learn how to like get along and talk and talk about now granted someone's being like a a, a a racist or like a some sort of terrible crossing some sort
Mhm.
of terrible line, right? Like okay, yeah, I think that's a little bit different, but like I don't know, like I have friends who like some friends who are I would say right leaning. um I don't know how they voted. I didn't get that far, but like we talk about football, right? Because we're
Mhm.
football fans, and that's kind of where we stick our like that's where we end our conversations at is that sort of talk. Or like, I have uh, we have trans friends and I mean, you and I are like total opposite people in terms of like, you know, race
Purposes.
and you know, orientation and whatever, but like, okay, oh no,
Yeah.
Ed, you're so scary. I mean, you are scary, but for other reasons.
Oh, hey, hold on, right? But then like you show me some artwork, you show me some news, and um like you and the family playing games, and I just get so hyped and so excited, and stuff like that, because it means a lot to me that you're sharing this stuff, but like it's something that you get to enjoy, and I get to enjoy it along with you and everything, and stuff. Like I literally love that. That's why even when I try to get like a game or something, I try to send it to you, and then maybe my phone or something. But I'm just like if I'm doing something, I want to get you. I want to show you. I'm like, this is what I got. This is what I got into, and it was super fun. And it's about that support and
mhm.
everything.
Yeah. I don't know.
So.
I feel like if people were just like a little bit kinder to people who are not the same as them. I don't want to say different because everybody's different, right? But like,
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like we would all be in a better place. And that's why like I love this show because it gets me out of the headspace of like, how do I have to act around these people or how do I have to, work with this person or, talk to this person or convince this person of one thing or another. And it's like, I'm tired, man. And like when we sit here for Pow Block or something, it's like I can just kind of like say whatever I want and be myself and not have to worry. And like,
Mhm.
you know, I feel like this, I feel like a lot of the industry is like, let's be inclusive, but not really. Only the people who are like us, which is like the same exact thing that's wrong with the other side. It's just like, I don't know, man. Again, I'm not trying to be I'm not trying to be like political or anything. I'm not smart enough to be like into any of this stuff. I feel like I know what's good and what's bad, and like I'm gonna lean towards what's good. um, you know, and maybe that will work out for the best. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling now and like I'm making it worse when I'm not intending it to be, but like it's just like my point is, I guess, instead of rambling for 20 minutes, I feel like Pow Block is like it's still one of the purest shows in terms of like we're not coming on here to spew nonsense about politics or who's who or whatever. We're here to talk about video games. We're here to talk about Nintendo. We're here to talk about like what we love and how we enjoy the hobby that we became friends over, and you know what I mean. Like
Mhm.
I still feel like this show still is like that, this deep in, and it's still makes me feel better, you know. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah,
Which is why
yeah,
like
it
this
does.
which is why I've said 100 times at least, like it doesn't matter if Boss Rush ends in 5 years, 10 years, 100 years, or tomorrow. Like Pow Block is going to endure, until
Exactly.
one of us is gone. Essentially, not that I like want to think about that part of it, but
Exactly.
you know what I mean. Like, I still feel like we're gonna be like in our 70s and 80s, and we're gonna be like, hey, guess what? We're still podcasting. I don't know. Nursing home have a good internet? I hope so because we got a show to do. um, so yeah, man.
Yeah.
And like, again, expansion pass, I feel like at the end of the day is just an excuse for us to keep podcasting without, having any kind of constraints on anything.
There's no format. There's just pure discussion. But it's gonna be some formats because
Well, I
I
mean,
still want to.
we still want to do like we've talked about doing like lists and stuff, and like
Yeah.
I still want to do that. I don't know how or where or when, but I actually got the idea. I don't remember who this guy was, this YouTuber, but I was like, it just popped up on my YouTube feed of like, all the Western release Fire Emblem games ranked or whatever. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I'll listen to it, whatever. But like it was like an hour-long video, and I was like, I went from like listening to it in the background to like watching it and being like engaged, no pun intended, with and I was like, I wish we had the time to do this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
like honestly, like with the way some things are changing and some personnel changes and some scaling back or scaling differently, like maybe we'll get to that this year at some point, you know.
I still uh want to do the expression pass about the debut episode of Power Rangers. We talked about that first episode, and it's mostly about how what we thought when we was kid, or we remember, and then what we think of it now watching it again and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I'm actually
But
like
that's for future. That's
seriously
for the future.
rewatching it now.
Everything.
um, kind of on purpose. Because I've just
So,
been really into it lately. And dude, that first season is 61 episodes. 61 episodes. It's like, oh my gosh, like I cannot believe how much footage they like reuse from like older episodes versus like the Super Sentai series versus like multiple Super Sentai series, because like they ran out of like footage, so they're just reusing it. It's just so funny of like, and like half the time it's just like the Zords fighting like the camera, and then the camera pans over to like, oh no, I lost Ed. I lost him. Oh no. I hope that's not on my end. That would suck. I'm just gonna pause this. We had a technical snafu. It's fine. What I was saying was like, it's just crazy in Power Rangers how much footage they reuse from like previous episodes and like the Super
mhm.
Sentai series, and like just like all the crazy stuff that show does to like not spend money. It's insane. So but yeah, season 1 has like 60 something episodes in it. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. But also like when you realize how much footage they reuse and reuse and
Yeah.
reuse, and how little time the actors are actually on screen.
Hmm.
Each episode is less than 21 minutes long, and the actors are only on screen for like 7 or 8 minutes an episode.
Just like the high school part and some of the
Yeah.
fighting parts.
Yeah. It's not until like later in season 2 and then season 3 where they actually have to like film like parts with the Western actors, because of
Yeah.
they ran out of footage, and also they needed footage with the White Ranger, because the White Ranger is from a different series than the Mighty Morphin Power like in Japan.
Yeah.
So like it's just really funny how they like go through all this, and it's just nuts. It's so dumb and fun, and I'm like, man, when do they get the new Zords? And I'm like only on episode 30 or something, and I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
I'm literally a season and a half away from them getting their new Zords.
Because don't forget, they were like 5 episodes per, per week.
Yeah,
Because it
I
was
know.
a
I
TV
I
syndicated
just
show.
didn't like, when you get older and you realize how TV works, right?
Hmm.
How like even back then, like 20 episodes a season was a lot, right? Or normal, I guess, for network TV. And then they like you saw reruns of stuff, but like 60 episodes, man, in that first season, quote unquote, like that's like 2 years worth of episodes.
Yeah. But you gotta think about,
I
like,
mean,
Saturday morning cartoons was different from weekday syndicate cartoons,
I know.
in a
And
sense,
like
or shows, I should say.
Power Rangers is essentially like a cartoon, right? Like an um which it just has like obviously real people in it. So like it's wild to watch now, like, and
Mhm.
realize, oh man, that show was like, dude, Power Rangers must have been super popular for them to go through all that just to have, I don't know, man. Their budget must have been spent on toys or something. Cause like,
Oh, heck yeah.
I mean, dude, also like when you go through and you look how many toys there actually weren't like, you look at the Ninja Turtles and there's like variations of the turtles of like, here's the scuba diver set, here's
Yeah.
the space set, here's the military set. There weren't that for Power Rangers, really, right? Like they had like the normal figures. They had the 8-inch figures and the 5-inch figures, right, which was pretty standard for toys back then.
Mhm.
And then the second wave of them, they had like the flip heads, like like you press their morpher and they switch from their head to their helmet or whatever. Like they were called auto morphing. But then like when the movie came out, they just re-released all those toys except, oh, these ones have metallic armor now
Because
instead
these are
of
the
matte
movie
red.
editions.
Yeah. And they put them in gray boxes instead of colorful boxes. It's like, oh,
Right.
well, you've just essentially printed this box in grayscale instead of color on your printer. And like that was it, right? And it's just like,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, look, even on toys and manufacturing, they saved money, you know. And like the way that you got different toys was when they finally figured out that they could change from Mighty Morphin to Zeo or Zeo to Turbo, right? You're like, oh
Yeah.
well, first we switched out the robots and those are the expensive toys, but we need to get new Rangers in their hands, you know. And then they just started switching out suits every year, or which was like the Super Sentai series that year, right? They would just switch them out. um Anyways, I know I've said all this before, and I've just been really deep into it. I'm gonna blame my son for this, really, even though I love diving deep into this stuff again. But uh yeah, man, I like, we talked about doing a rewatch of that first episode. I'm like,
Yeah.
we should just start rewatching the entire series and just either do like an episode per episode, or like a batch of episodes per episode, or like,
Mhm.
and then like, oh, the thing too is like the Green Ranger miniseries of like how the Green Ranger like pretty much just destroyed them all through 6 episodes. And like they essentially just got lucky by
It's
winning.
it's funny, when I think about, watching Power Rangers, Batman animated series, like, Fox Kids was running it, and
Mhm.
then, like, I think it might have been 94, 95, or maybe even 96. On Sundays, I will watch Ghost Rider on PBS.
Mhm.
And everything. And I was just like, "Oh, this is the show." I would watch sometimes I'll watch S Club 7
Oh god,
on
S Club 7.
I
My
do
cousin was obsessed with S Club 7.
I was saying with me, because I think I was like in my sorry everybody, I know this is crazy. I was like in my I think 21 or 22. I was like in my early 20s and stuff when they started showing it, because I was buying their albums,
Mhm.
that they sold here. Because it was just like, um, I missed that musical element being in TV shows, because they did it for Scooby Doo, and
Scooby Doo.
the Jackson 5 cartoon, they would get to a point where they were playing the Jackson 5 cartoons and stuff. And
Dude, there was a
I
point
was
where like everybody had a cartoon. Mike Tyson
Yeah.
had a cartoon. Michael Jordan had a cartoon. Bo Jackson, I think, maybe they were all part of the same cartoon.
Wayne Gretzky, Bo Jackson, and Michael Jordan, because they was all in Chicago.
Yeah.
Bo Jackson was White Sox. Michael Jordan was Bulls, and Wayne Gretzky was Blackhawks, I think. He
was Edmonton for a while. I mean, I don't follow hockey. I don't know 100%, but he was.
Bo Jackson was the Los Angeles baseball team.
The Dodgers?
No, or was he the Raiders?
He played baseball and football. That was like his big claim to fame, was he did both.
So then it was the Raiders then.
The Oakland Raiders. Or were they the LA Raiders back then?
LA Raiders. They were. Because he was a big name in sports.
Yeah, I mean, Tecmo Bowl. If you weren't trying to be the Raiders, we had a rule: no Raiders, because Bo Jackson, all you did was zigzag and score every time. I mean, and by we, I mean my cousin had that rule because I didn't really know what I was doing at the time. But no Raiders, no Bo.
And it was funny because that was NBC showing that, which also showed Captain N.
Yeah, terrible
on Saturdays. But then I think they show wrestling also on Channel 5. I know it was on Fox after 11 o'clock back in the 80s and stuff.
Man, so, TV was so weird back then, man.
Turtles were on UPN or Channel 50, and then they had the hour show on CBS when CBS did cartoons.
Well, then, I don't know if you remember The Last Mutation. Or the next mutation, the live action show that they tried to do the movie thing on TV. Oh my gosh, it was so bad, dude. And then they tried to introduce Venus, right? And they just totally went about it the wrong way. And then they did the crossover with Power Rangers, which was like the dream when that stuff was good. But at that point, it was Power Rangers in space, I think, and the next mutation of Ninja Turtles. Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? These are not the versions of these characters we want to see crossover with each other.
USA Network had like the Laugh Olympics, had the Hanna-Barbera stuff, but on Saturdays in the 90s or probably 2000s, they started doing Street Fighter and the Mortal Kombat cartoons.
Yeah, we should save this for another episode. And by another episode, I mean we should stop here and record another one right after this.
Okay. So everybody, that's gonna be it for Expansion Pass. It is back. We're gonna have random discussions. So then they're not always gonna be Nintendo related. But hopefully you guys will tune in, will join us in the conversations. And with that, everybody, have a great day, have a great night, have a great weekend. Once again, be safe, and we'll see you next time on Expansion Pass. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye. If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Sana Dirrig, Francisco Santillan, and Christian S. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.